Hello, I'm Father James Kubicki, and several years ago I had the opportunity to go on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. On one of our first days there, we tried to visit the top of Mount Carmel in the northern part of Israel known as Galilee. We wanted to visit a Carmelite monastery there, for this is where the first Carmelites gathered together to pray in the 13th century. Unfortunately, the gate was closed to visitors on that day, and our intrepid tour guide proposed an alternative that not many pilgrims visit, a small church in the town of Nain. We drove there and we went to a nearby house where the Muslim caretaker lived and got the keys for the church. We entered the small, dark, rarely visited church where there was no sanctuary lamp because our Lord is not kept sacramentally present there. Still, one could sense our Lord present in the story from the Gospel of Luke chapter 7 that we read there. It's the same story that we have in today's Gospel, the story of how Jesus saw a large crowd that formed a funeral procession around a weeping woman, a widow who had just lost her only son who was about to be buried. The Gospel says that when Jesus saw her, he was moved with pity for her and said to her, "Do not weep." Then he stepped forward and touched the coffin and told the dead man to arise. To the astonishment of all, he sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him back to his mother. After reflecting on this miracle that happened right there, we got on our bus and left. And I'll always remember looking out the window of the bus and seeing some boys coming back from school. They shouted at another boy and threw stones at him. I couldn't help thinking how Jesus must feel pity today as well when he sees people for whom he died treating one another without pity, but with hatred. May our hearts be like the heart of Jesus, always moved by suffering, to pity and not moved by anger.